Hey there. I just completed my first 6 hour salty dog enduro, which is basically a 6 hour long enduro cross country race where you're repeating as many laps of a approximately 10 to 11 kilometer course in as many times as you can in 6 hours. This is generally not my wheelhouse. I am primarily a gravity rider, race, enduro, occasional marathon XC, usually about 3 hours long at most, and a couple of team events and 24-hour events. So why I signed up for the Salty Dog was because I have a number of clients that I work with that end up doing this race as a prep race for bigger endurance races in the summer, especially the stage races like Single Track 6 and BC Bike Race. I'm able to help them quite effectively because of my knowledge of exercise physiology, but ultimately I don't enter these kind of events that much myself. So this was a chance for me to go experience what I'm coaching people to helping people to accomplish, reach PRs or just bucket list items, or be able to, let's just say, the accomplished a race like this. So let's move to my data here. So I got intervals.icu, great app to use. So I got all my data. I have a power meter on my bike, so you can I can get this data not just for training but also for information to have throughout the year, so I can monitor training loads and whatnot. But for my clients, this is what I use when I analyze data. If they have a power meter, a lot of information I can get from it. Ultimately, a lot of them just have a heart rate monitor, so I utilize that as necessary. So first thing I look at when I look at an event like this, I'm looking at what are the lap times. So you can see my lap times: 56, hour and 3, hour and 7, hour and 9. And I split it up into sections for moving time because I took a short break to refill my hydration pack and grab some more water balls and have a quick snack after 3 laps. So going into it, just a general overlook. You're looking at my first lap here on the left. This is like there's a mass start. It's pretty hectic. There was a crash in front of me. I managed not to crash, but yeah. It's the nature of mass start racing. So caught up in kind of in the excitement of the first bit. I felt I went a little harder on the first lap. There was some slow people. I chose some lines to get through, and the climb was quite punchier than I expected. That for a cross country race, so that being my forte, being able to punch up steep climbs. As you can see here, if you look at, you can see heart rate zones color coded here. You can see how I go into them red and black, purple. It's a little bit aggressive, honestly, and same as you can see my power there. So I think I ultimately had where is my percent power? Sorry, let me get this up here. Intense, yeah, so I was at 76% overall. That's actually pretty good with the climbs. I'll go back and look at the climbs later. But overall, looking at that, you can see that I felt that I was going a little hard, but I still felt really good. Second lap, I pulled it back a little bit, tried to stay smoother, tried to not push as much. So you can see the heart rate and the power stay in control, so I was still feeling really good. Kept the time the same, partially because of like the mass start was a slight different location, so similar times though. Lap 3, again, feeling really good. I was feeling really good. Kept it pretty smooth again. Only the steepest sections in my heart rate and power bump up. But late in the climb, I started getting pretty significant cramping, and I struggled a bit going down because kind of the resting position I was trying to do on smooth sections. I was cramping, which I knew the fatigue was coming. What I was going to be able to do coming on. So when I switched, I saw I was about 3 hours in. So I'm like, hey, I might be able to do 6 laps based on this pace, but I don't know if I can keep up hour a lap. So what my decision was, it was a switch from trying to consume as much carbohydrate, which I had in my water bottle, very highly concentrated mixture of Glyco-Durance from F2C Nutrition. So I switched to drinking more from a hydration pack to thinking I had put too much carbs in maybe, or my stomach was also feeling full. So I hydrated more, hydrated, and my cramps started going away. I still slightly there, but the rest of the race, they kind of stayed away when I kind of switched more to a hydration focus than fueling focus. And you can see my lap times increased a bit. So I'm like about hour 7, hour 9 moving time, even though it was ultimately a little bit, they were a little bit longer on the race results with a little bit of the break I took. And then when I finished my last lap, which was my 5th lap, I decided after that, where I was going to be really close. I don't know if I could have kept the same pace or even shortened it to get that final 6th lap in. So I called it, because I didn't want to put all that work and not come in on time. Because the goal of the race wasn't to get the max number of laps, it was to learn the process and go through the process I teach my clients to go through. And ultimately, I did complete, kind of pretty good result. So I was pretty pleased with it. So now let's look a little bit deeper in my. I'm going to tease out each of the climbs. I'll tease out each of the climbs. Just delete the intervals in between. Yeah, so you just focus on the climbs because that's where I find the most energy is taken up. As well as descent. So let's go short first descent. So intensity, I remember looking at it. So I have it here. You'll see it here. It's this one right here, 100%. So I was right at FTP for that. And my Garmin, I think, was seeing a little bit above that, if I remember correctly. And you can see each of the other climbs, 91, 92, 86 as fatigue comes in, 85, 69. Yeah, that was cramping starting to go in, so I was slowing down. Where is the next one? 76. Yeah, so fatigue really picked up the last 2 laps. You can see the pace that occurred. And but you can see the stages for like the main descent, which was a bit of a climb in the middle of it. 17 and a half minutes, 17 and a half minutes again. This one 18 or almost 19. What was this one? 21. So you can see the things slowed down. Things did slow down overall. So things I would change based on this information is next time I did this kind of like, I would make sure I paced out, especially the first lap a bit better, not go quite out as hard, not get caught up in the excitement. I only went a little bit over, like I was trying to stay around 90% on the climb. So you can see how, at least for the first almost half the race, I was able to stay in that 85 to 90 in that sweet spot to be able to conserve energy. And my average heart rate, if you look even on descent, was in the 170, which is below my threshold heart rate. It was a pretty technical downhill, more and fast and pretty physical, more than I expected. So ultimately, I think I did a good job pacing on the downhill. I didn't push too hard. I slowed down at the end, partially because of safety, because I was so tired. So I did control my effort then there, but overall, pleased with what I did. Things I would change. First, I just had lack training volume. Very busy life. I have a very busy life with a young family. So realistically, this is what many people that try to race mountain bikes deal with. Busy work, busy life. Your training is not going to be ideal, but you do what you can so you can show up at the start line and go enjoy yourself and enjoy the experience. So I successfully accomplished that. Another thing I would change is my prep is that what training I did do, I was expecting smoother climbs, not as physical a course. So I was really trying to pace longer efforts at approximately 90% to get used to what does it feel like pushing at that for a longer period of time. I would ultimately, now knowing the race course, if I do Salty Dog again, I will choose rides outside that have punchy climbs over and over and over again, and not just try to survive up to climbs, but really work on building that high end and be able to push up a climb. So when I'm in the race situation, just getting up, considering it was early season, just getting up some of the steep sections of climbs was a really hard effort. I think what was my max power that came out? I remember seeing 1,000 watts for my max power in the on my Garmin. I don't see exactly your max power here, but I did have like some max set. Like I had a new suggested FTP, which just bumped my estimated FTP up to what it pretty much currently is. A max season best 10-minute power, season best 1 hour power, and 1.5 hour power. So even though these are things I know I can complete, but like these are pushing myself overall pretty hard. Another cool thing to see with all this data is like overall intensity 81%, pretty realistic for a 6 hour ride, or I was just short of 6 hours, not being able to wanting to complete the final lap. Super high training load, 348. And then yeah, seeing like what all the averages, if you want to check out normalized power and other stuff and variability to go really deep into data, which is the fine print, not the meat and potatoes I've already gone with. So if you want any help with your race prep, race strategies or anything, please reach out and help. I help multiple people races like this. These Marathon XC races, super fun events, and everybody wants to go out and enjoy them, and feel accomplished after. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you've learned something from it.